Ever feel like hitting that publish button on a new website is kind of like, I don't know, launching a rocket?
Totally.
There's so much hype around the design and the look, but it's easy to forget like, the prep work, the stuff that nobody really sees but is totally crucial.
It's the engine room. It's mission control.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Luckily for us, though, we've got this awesome guide from Now Technology Systems. It's packed with like insider tips, almost like a secret recipe for website success. And what's cool is they're based in Australia, right?
Yeah, they really know the Aussie digital landscape like the back of their hand.
So they're dealing with, all the same, I guess all the same kind of like rules and regulations that we are.
Exactly. And even though it's tailored for Australia,
Yeah.
honestly, most of the advice is universal. They're all about building a site that not only looks fantastic, but actually works for you,
Yeah.
gets results.
Okay, so let's crack open this treasure chest of website wisdom, shall we? Where do we even begin?
Well, before we dive into fonts and color palettes and all the fun design stuff,
Because that's important. But we got to do this first.
exactly, this guide really hammers home two super important things: your audience and your goals. Who are you actually trying to reach with this website, and what do you want them to do once they're there?
Right, because if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there, or something like that. It's like
Yeah.
planning a road trip, right?
Exactly. Love that analogy.
Yeah.
You wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving without a map, would you?
Not unless I wanted to get very, very lost and probably end up somewhere I definitely didn't want to be. So we've got our destination, we've got our travel buddies. What's next on our website road trip checklist?
Well, just like any good road trip, a little reconnaissance can go a long way.
Yeah.
We're talking competitor analysis.
Competitor analysis. Sounds a little bit intense. Like, are we spying on the competition now?
Not exactly spying, more like, let's call it strategic inspiration. It's about checking out what other businesses in your niche are doing online.
Ah, so we can, like, steal all their best ideas. Just kidding, sort of.
Well, it's more about understanding their strengths and maybe even more importantly, spotting any gaps or weaknesses that your website could capitalize on.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. So instead of just copying what everyone else is doing, we're actually looking for ways to stand out.
Yeah.
Be unique.
Exactly. This guide really emphasizes that a website that truly shines isn't just about looking pretty, it's about strategy and knowing your audience inside and out and really owning your space in the market.
Okay, so we've got our game plan, our roadmap, and we've even done a little bit of competitive research.
Reconnaissance.
Yes, reconnaissance. What's next? Time to build this thing.
It is. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get into the nitty-gritty of, well, building the engine room of our website, the stuff that makes it all work.
Okay, so like the techie stuff. Domain names, hosting, all those things that make my eyes glaze over a little bit.
You got it. And this guide gets really specific here. Like when it comes to choosing a domain name, they're all about finding something that's not only easy to remember, catchy, exactly, but also something that's relevant to your brand. And then there's hosting. This is a big one. They really emphasize the importance of choosing a provider that's reliable, one that can handle your website traffic, especially if you're expecting a lot of visitors.
Okay, so no skimping on the website equivalent of a good engine.
Yeah.
What happens if we, like, choose a dodgy hosting provider? Asking for a friend, of course.
Let's just say it's not going to be pretty. Think slow loading times, frustrated visitors.
People bouncing off the website faster than...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in a worst case scenario, your site could even crash. And that's a disaster for, well, everything.
Yeah, not the best look. Reliable hosting it is. What else do we need to know about building this website engine of ours?
Well, since this guide is specifically for Australia, they're big on making sure you're across all the legal stuff from the get-go.
Oh, right, because Australia has, like, its own set of internet laws, right?
Exactly. Data protection is a really big deal. So you got to make sure your site's accessible to people with disabilities. You've got your privacy policies sorted.
All the legal boxes ticked.
They even recommend having a lawyer look over your terms and conditions, just to be extra safe.
Okay, so no cutting corners when it comes to the law. It's like getting our website launch cleared by Mission Control. I like it. So the engine's humming, the legal team's given us the green light. Now can we finally talk design? Okay, so the website's engine is, like, primed and ready. The legal team's given us the thumbs up. Can we finally talk about design? I mean, this is the fun part, right?
It is. Now we get to make it look amazing.
Ah!
But, and this is a big but,
Oh, I don't like the sound of big butts.
before you go crazy with, fancy animations and color schemes,
Which I was going to do. I have great taste, by the way.
I bet you do. But this guide really stresses that, above all else, user experience is king.
Okay, so what does that mean exactly, user experience?
It means thinking about how people actually use a website. It's about making sure it's not just pretty to look at, but also super easy to navigate,
Hmm.
intuitive. People should be able to find what they need without, like, having to hunt for it.
Makes sense. If I have to click through like a million pages to find something, I'm out of there.
Exactly. And that's what we call a bounce.
The bounce! Is that?
Let's just say it's not ideal.
Yeah.
A high bounce rate basically means people are leaving your site almost as soon as they land on it. And that could be a sign that something's wrong with, well, it could be the design, it could be the content.
Okay, so we want to design a website that people actually stick around for. Got it. How do we do that? Besides having amazing content, obviously.
Well, one thing this guide really highlights is speed. Nobody wants to wait around for a website to load. It's like the death knell, right?
Yeah, if it takes more than a couple of seconds, I'm gone. I'm too impatient.
Exactly. So optimizing your images, making sure your code is clean, and yeah, having a good hosting plan all contribute to that snappy, smooth experience.
It's like making sure our website is aerodynamic.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked about the engine. We've made sure the website is easy to use. But even the slickest, fastest car needs fuel to get it moving.
Ooh, I know this one. We're talking content, right?
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. This guide really emphasizes that your content needs to be, well, it needs to work hard. It should be informative, engaging, but also, and this might not be as fun,
Let me guess. This is where SEO rears its ugly head.
it's not ugly. It's actually super important.
Yeah.
Basically, SEO is all about making sure your website shows up on search engines. So when someone Googles something related to your business, you want your site to be at the top of that list.
Okay, so it's like being the coolest shop on the street, the one everyone can find easily.
Exactly. And since this guide is really focused on the Australian market, they're all about local SEO. So if you've got a shop in, say, Sydney, you want to make sure people in Sydney can find you online.
So like using keywords that people in Sydney are searching for.
Exactly. It's all about being strategic with the words you use, claiming your Google My Business listing, even getting listed in those online directories.
Okay, so we've got our design. We're on top of our SEO game. Anything else we need to pack in our website launch kit?
We touched on this before, but it's worth repeating because it's so important, especially here in Australia. Legal compliance.
Right. Data protection, privacy policy, all that good stuff. We're not cutting any corners.
Good. Because it's not just about following the rules, it's also about building trust with your audience. So double check everything, make sure you're crystal clear on how you collect and use data.
Okay, check and check. Website's looking schmick, content's top-notch. We're playing by the rules. Are we ready for launch?
Almost. We've done the hard work, we've prepped our rocket. But the journey doesn't end there. Launching is just the beginning.
Wait, there's more. I thought we were ready to pop the champagne.
We can do that too.
Oh.
But this guide really emphasizes that post-launch is super important. It's like you don't just launch a rocket and then forget about it.
Right.
Right.
I mean, that would be bad. So we're basically launching this, like, amazing spaceship. We're checking the fuel, plotting our course. But spaceships need maintenance, right? Like, even the fancy ones.
Exactly. And this is something a lot of people forget. Launching a website isn't a one-and-done thing. It needs ongoing care, just like anything else. It's like owning a car.
Oh, tell me you don't have to change the oil on a website. My car's due for one of those, and I've been avoiding it.
Thankfully, no oil changes required for websites.
Yeah.
But you do need to think about regular upkeep, like updating your content management system.
The what now?
The CMS.
Yeah.
It's a software that powers your website behind the scenes. WordPress is a really popular one, and those need updates, just like any other software. Oh, and back up your website. That's a big one.
Just in case it crashes.
Exactly. Think of it like insurance for your website. You hope you never need it, but if you do, you'll be so glad you have it.
Okay, so regular tune-ups. Got it. And speaking of things that can go wrong, this guide talks a lot about security, too.
Rightly so. It's like you've built this amazing online presence, but you've left the door wide open for, digital bad guys.
Okay, that sounds terrifying. How do we fight off these digital bad guys?
Strong passwords are a must. And don't even think about using password 123. Two-factor authentication is another good one. That's where you need a code from your phone as well as your password to log in. It's an extra layer of security.
Like having a moat and a drawbridge.
Exactly. Oh, and be careful about the plugins and themes you use. Only download from reputable sources.
It's like installing a security system for your website. I like it.
And the best part is, a lot of this stuff is actually pretty easy to do, even if you're not, like, a tech whiz.
That's good to hear because Tech and I, not exactly best friends. Okay, so we've got our data dashboard, our maintenance schedule, our Fort Knox level security. We've covered a lot. Anything else?
Just one more thing, and it's a biggie. Engagement.
Ooh, now we're talking. Engagement. This is where we get to, like, throw a party, right?
Kind of. You've built this amazing online space, but now you need to actually get people interacting with it. Think social media, newsletters, maybe even some fun quizzes or polls on your site.
So it's not enough to just build a website. We have to actually build, like, a community.
Exactly. You want people to keep coming back, to feel like they're part of something.
This has been so eye-opening. It's like, I knew launching a website was a big deal, but I had no idea there were so many moving parts.
It's a journey, for sure,
Mm.
but it's also incredibly rewarding.
I can imagine. Well, there you have it, folks. Everything you need to know to launch a website that is truly out of this world.
And remember, a website is a living, breathing thing. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Until next time, happy launching.